just a couple bad weather fans representing New York, talking all things sports. Man, what could go wrong? We got Alex, who's a fan of the Knicks, and Mike of the Nets. The yin-yang of the tri-state, place your bets on the Yankees, Giants, Mets, or Jets. Yeah, you should listen if it's sparking your interest. If you made a vow to your team, don't break it. Bad weather fans is the relation.
That's right, this is Bad Weather Fans, episode number 213. Mike Biseglia, Alex Vanessowitz. Brooklyn Nets snap their 6-game losing streak. Knicks make it 2 in a row. They crushed the Detroit Pistons after the win versus the Brooklyn Nets over the weekend. Dante DiVincenzo goes nuts, cracking 11 threes. And for the Nets, depleted rosters on both sides, but at least a victory. But honestly, no emotional joy as earlier in the day. Word came out from Shams Charania, as Alex is really excited about that as he moves away his yawn. You're not getting away with that here, buddy.
There was no sound, so you blew it on the audio.
Well, the video portion, if you want to check out the video and see Alex yawning at this Bad Weather Fans Open.
Subscribe everywhere, please. Yes,
go for it.
Yes. Subscribe, YouTube.
Shams breaking the news that the Nets turned down a trade that they should not have, which we kind of knew about. We got more of the fuller details. Alex, good evening. How are you?
I'm doing well. The Knicks kicked the crap out of the Pistons. That was fun.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, Dante DiVincenzo sets the Knicks record for 11 threes in a game. It was a record. What is the record? The NBA record? Is it 12? It's not 12. That's probably way past that by now. I know it was like 12 for a little while.
NBA,
I feel like Klay Thompson got like 15 or something, or one of those
3-point record.
So he was on fire.
Game. 14, Klay Thompson.
14. Okay, at least I knew it was Klay. Yeah, or I said Klay or Steph, so it was half right.
Yeah,
but same idea. He was on fire, and then they were really keening on him. It was kind of funny because DiVincenzo was trying to break Fournier's record for the single game, and it was tied with like 10 Knicks, but like, and he's chasing him for the single season 3-point record right now, DiVincenzo, Fournier. So Fournier, they were kind of like, they were teammates. They're kind of giving it to each other a little bit, and it's kind of funny, but yeah, easy win for the Knicks. They go 3-1 on the West Coast, come home, beat Brooklyn, beat the Pistons, and away we go.
Yeah, Cavs winners tonight, so they remain a half game ahead with their win versus the Hornets. I mean, the Cavs struggling without Donovan Mitchell, but it's a win for Cleveland. As the Knicks jockeying in that 3, 4, 5, 6 area, we're kind of getting a little more clarity of where maybe the standings will shake out. Obviously, still a lot of games to go. Nets well behind; they're out of the playoffs. The Hawks actually came back and beat the Celtics tonight, so Atlanta gets a good win for them versus Boston. Nets are essentially cooked. Going back to that Net-Knick game on Saturday, Nets in it. Basically the entire time. It was tied with essentially 10, 11 minutes left. And then the Knicks kicked the shit out of the Nets. And it wasn't really close as it was interesting because Josh Hart in the first half of that game, Alex, was pretty pedestrian, didn't do much, didn't have his footprints over the game. And then the second half, Josh Hart does what he does. Energy, rebounding,
triple
transition.
Doubles.
Yeah, a Mr. Do It All, and you could feel his energy in that second half. Provided the difference for the Knicks as they got the win versus the Nets. And of course, after the game or the next day in practice, I think it was after the game. Josh,
you're talking about the Nets game. He didn't have triple double that game. He had triple double tonight. Yeah.
Well, yes. He had the reference in the after the next.
So many triple doubles, I can't keep up with his triple doubles.
Anyway, he did say it's like that SpongeBob meme, and I don't know SpongeBob. I've never watched an episode of my life.
But you know the meme. You know the meme.
I don't even. Honestly, I'm learning all this in real time.
If you saw it, you know it.
I saw what it was. I honestly have no idea about SpongeBob.
Wow, I'm surprised. Not that you know SpongeBob, but that you've seen the meme.
I have not. I have not seen. I did not know. I probably have seen it and not realized. I honestly.
Yeah,
but I know that. I know that's me being not in the know.
Lying, just to be dramatic.
No. It's not. I'm not lying. I don't. I really had no idea what it was.
I really could have given it to you. You would have gotten mad just now.
I really had no idea.
I'm not lying. I swear.
No, I know it's a popular meme, and I know I'm like the 1% that doesn't know it.
Right.
It's like that SpongeBob meme when Squidward is looking out the window and he sees SpongeBob and Patrick having fun. Mikal is Squidward. And this is just, and Mikal responded to it today and basically was like, that's just Josh's personality. And he's right. That is Josh Hart. He is a goofball, and he likes being silly about this stuff. And unfortunately, as a Net fan on the side of it, you just have to essentially go through the torture of just these stupid, comments, and not stupid, but silly comments, and them poking fun at each other. Just annoying. I mean, as a Net fan, it's just annoying. And Mikal Bridges wouldn't say it. He said he's just Josh being Josh. I'll say it. I mean, he's a dick, in the most positive way possible. I mean that, like, not like a real ass or he's a great guy, but he's a dick, right? And he knows that he's going to get the Knicks fans engaged. He knows he'll get the Net fans engaged. Like, I can't tell how many people at me the quote. I mean, that's exactly what he wants to do. And I took it as, honestly, took it as respect that so many Knicks fans at me about it. I was like, thank you for thinking of me.
Yeah.
But he's a dick, right? And that's what he's doing. And that's unfortunately that's where it stands. And it's annoying. It's embarrassing. But I will say Josh Hart's day is coming when he can't pick on the woeful Nets, and he actually has to deal with real teams. We'll see, if he has the same bravado when it matters in a big moment. But versus the Nets in a versus a loser team, God bless you.
Well, I don't think that's very fair. He's the record with Josh Hart on the Knicks is like 30 something games over 500 with a round one in the playoffs. Like, he's beaten a lot of good teams. And when he's been with the Knicks, he's talked trash the whole time. It's just his personality.
Yeah.
But I think as a Nets fan, I can't speak for you, but I can speak for myself. If I was in your shoes, which I was a couple years ago, with the Nets talking trash about the Knicks, Durant and Kyrie and everybody teasing the Knicks and this and that, and rightfully so. They had the stars, and you were kicking our ass every time we played each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it makes sense. But at the same time, today, if you said Bridges responded, I didn't even see that. I would have liked to seen if I was a Nets fan. No, I'm very happy with my team. I love the Nets. I love playing for these fans. This is my team. Stop it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if it's publicly, something like that. And that's kind of why you got upset at the Roommates podcast. You know what I mean? So it's just, it goes hand in hand a little bit. I love it though. Trash the Nets all day. I love it. But
a little bit different from the Roommate show, because he went on there and they dissected a singular play about the fan base not getting energized and loud, and that in particular got really under my skin. That bothered me. This is him just poking fun at his friend, being like, "We're here winning, and you're over there being sad." And I don't know. It didn't impact me the same way. I was just kind of like, he's corny, and it was his silly joke again. I don't know. And it was just, the Nets have been so beaten down at this point, it didn't really impact me the same. But when they're on a podcast and they're breaking down a play, and it's more of this arrogance to it, that annoyed me in particular. Here, it's just a throwaway quote in the moment, and yeah, maybe if it was the first one sent, but now I'm just like, all right,
you're numb to it a little bit,
right? Like, what's it? Just, I don't know. It's just it's a little numb to it, and I mean, like, for example, if he does it again, it's just like, it'll just, the more he does it, the less interesting I think it'll become to the fans. The more and more he does it, especially the more and more the Knicks just beat the Nets. Like, no one's gonna care. It's like, we're bad, you're good. The things have flipped. It kind of sucks. From my perspective, Nets fans' perspective. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean this in the most loving way possible. He's a dick. And he does it in a fun, he's a great guy, but yeah, he's trolling people.
He's what Spencer Dinwiddie was to me years ago, for years.
Totally. And I would be a complete hypocrite if
I
came on here and it was like, that's bullshit. You can't do that. Now, Spencer Dinwiddie never had a podcast where he had, former college teammates that were Knicks fans join him.
The same idea, just a little different.
Right. Yeah, now, in this case, I'm just like, yeah, he's like, right. I'm not going to take this dude. It's a funny
This one's not a big
SpongeBob.
Okay.
Whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a dick.
I can wrap my head around that.
But I'm jealous. Yeah. but I can't wait for, and the more and more I watch the Knicks win, the more and more I can't wait for the fall. Is going to make it even more exciting for me, because that's all I have now.
Well, they're injured. So, there's 11 games left, right? Or 11 games left. and they still have no timeline on Julius Randle. OG Anunoby disappeared. He was injury maintenance and he was getting an MRI. The Knicks are never truthful about injuries at all, ever. And Mitchell Robinson's practicing, so he'll be back. But you have iHart, and it's like Mitchell Robinson's better in my opinion, but iHart's playing good enough that you're not really missing Mitch as much as you would like Randall and OG. You know what I mean? You can win without. It's just I keep saying the same thing over and over. You need two of the three back. If you get one, it's nothing's gonna. You might win a round, and that's about it.
You can't mess with a good thing. I think if as far as starting Mitchell Robinson over Hartenstein, because he has played unbelievably well. He has played, in my opinion, better than Mitch ever did as a starter. And they bring different dynamics of what they do.
Different kinds of players,
but they're winning basketball with him at a rate that they never did with Mitchell Robinson. And I think what he's provided has really worked in this lineup. So to me, if you get Mitch back, you give yourself some balance, some backup, especially when you need fouls versus Giannis. You need defensive rebounding versus the Celtics. Embiid's back and you need fouls, whatever it might be, you're going to need that big body. That to me matters, but I can't go ahead and then flip those two back and forth, right? And, the Knicks, to your point about OG and Julius Randle, the Knicks' problem is their depth. I mean, you look at what they're doing right now is Miles McBride's playing 40-plus minutes every night, 48 minutes, 46 minutes. DiVincenzo's playing 40-plus minutes, and nobody on the bench is performing. If you need DiVincenzo and McBride to be the second-tier guys, not the first-tier guys when you get into the playoffs,
right?
And that's where the depth plays an important factor, right? Even if OG and Randall aren't playing huge minutes or aren't starting, you just have yourself a little more depth because you're not going to beat the Celtics or the Bucks.
No.
When Miles McBride's giving you 48, Brunson's giving you 48. You need a little bit of depth in the playoffs. I know bench is shortened, but you got to have depth more than just one guy because Bogdanovich and Burks have not brought it.
Yeah, now Burks is out with the injury. It feels like a starting pitcher injury where he's just been playing poorly, and they're like, "Oh, let's make him an injury, give him a night off," And it's Bogdanovich has been trash. Burks has been trash. They have no bench, but you still want to wait for the guys to get healthy, and you're running out of time, And we had a caller when we were on WFAN hosting the show towards the end. I think his name was Brian, and he said, like, how would you feel about dropping Julius Randle in the middle of a playoff series, even if you're up, And it was a great question because, like, let's say you're up 2-1 on the Cavs in the first round, and Julius Randle's healthy. And you're rolling, you're going to drop this Julius Randle bomb in the middle of it when he hasn't played in 2-3 months. There's not the time for rust, It's just, you at that point, like, what do you do? Like, you have to play him, but then it could disrupt everything, So that's what you're rooting for is that kind of mess.
It's like OG Anunoby, I think, and Mitch, you could kind of just fit in there because they're more of, they're not role players, they're star role players, right? Where they could come in. Anunoby gives you defense, which on the perimeter versus guys like Tatum, Giannis, Dame Lillard.
He hangs in the corner, pops the three.
That. You need that. Randall demands the ball. And changes everything that's happening. Everything. They've developed the Knicks. The Knicks, to their credit, have developed great chemistry, and guys are having Justin Termini said this from NBA, Sirius XM NBA, and he's right. The Knicks. Every player on the Knicks is having their best season of their life all at the same time. Brunson, Hart, DiVincenzo.
What he said that I didn't like was that he said they're overachieving. That I didn't like because that's a little bit of a dig. Where it's like you're overachieving. Like, just give them credit for playing well. You know what I mean? Like, the one guy you could say is overachieving is Precious Achiuwa. Like, nobody ever saw this out of him before. That's one guy you can be like, all right, fine. He might be overachieving. But the rest of them, they're just taking a step, man. They're all young guys who's taking a step.
The only real way to answer that question fully is if Justin's right or if you're right, will be let's see what happens when they get in the playoffs.
Right.
And that, to me, will answer that question. Because if they go into the playoffs and lay a dud versus the Magic and lose in 6 and DiVincenzo disappears, Miles McBride doesn't make shots, all of a sudden Josh Hart is 1 for 7 from 3 and can't do anything on the perimeter as they scheme differently versus Brunson, which to the Nets' credit, they actually did well with Mikal. He forced Brunson to go like 7 for whatever and missed tons of shots. That to me will answer that question of the overachieving is what happens in the playoffs when everybody predicts the Knicks to beat the Magic, defeat the Pacers, and they don't. That's when you can start creeping in like, well, they overachieved in the regular season because they sucked in the playoffs.
Why is it only this season count? Why doesn't last season count? I mean, last season they won a round and they achieved, you know what I mean? And they did their thing and they won a round.
Randall was there, Barrett was there, Quickly was there.
Okay.
They don't
but
have
Brunson was there,
playing.
Brunson was there, Hart was there, Robinson was there. Who else was McBride was there? There have been guys that were there. You know what I mean? Like it's not like they're a completely different team. You know what I mean?
Not completely different.
Now that's one. They're gonna be in the playoffs for the third time in 4 seasons. You know, it's not like this is just a flash in the pan, one good year. You know, that's what's unfair.
No, I mean they're doing it with all these injuries, though. It's the huge difference. I mean, Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and Emmanuel Quickly are gone. And the guy they got for him in the trade doesn't play. So, right. Randall not the trade, but the guy that got
Grimes is gone too. Grimes is gone too.
So, they have all stepped up even more this season than they did last year. Even more. You know, Hart has a full season in training camp. He's not just plopped in after the trade deadline. They've all played better. DiVincenzo's taken a step from where he was in Golden State. I mean, now I know everybody, Nets fans and Knicks fans weren't watching DiVincenzo every second of his time in Golden State, which he was a possibility as a net free agent in 2020.
And he has experience too, man. Playoff experience, not the DiVincenzo. He's got all of it, man. He's been around. He was on the bench was for some titles, but he saw it. OG was on the bench for a title, but he saw it. You know what I mean? These guys have been around the league, man. Like the Knicks didn't just throw together, and Bogdanovich, I don't know how much playoff experience he has. I mean, I know he's on a lot of bad teams, but like he's been around the block. Burks has playoff experience. Like these guys, like this team is experienced. It's not some flash in the pan, and that's what annoyed me about that statement by Termini. It's just like, come on, man. It's just a little subtle dig of they're all overachieving. Like, no, I think the one player, like I said, I'll repeat myself. The one player that's overachieving is Precious Achiuwa, in my opinion. I don't think he's this good. I hope he is. I hope he stays like this and he's this great energy guy off the bench like our Anthony Mason. Let's rock. But at the same time, it's like, why do you have to belittle the Knicks? They're overachieving. You know what I mean? Maybe Josh Hart is coming to his own. Maybe Donte DiVincenzo is coming to his own. Maybe Jalen Brunson has just become a superstar. Maybe Hartenstein is who he is now. Like, this is him. You know what I mean? Maybe this is who they got. Like, these guys, Deuce McBride took a step. He's developing slowly, and now he's taking a step. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is it an overachievement and not just development?
Because his point is maybe they're not. Maybe you said maybe they are, maybe they're not. And I think again,
right, but it's not a flash in the pan thing. You know what I mean? That's the thing. It bothered me.
Over time, to answer that question, like is Donte DiVincenzo this good, or is he just having like I said, is he overachieving? I think to me the playoffs is the litmus test for that for the Donte DiVincenzos is Jalen Brunson has to have a great playoffs. He was good. He was very good. Right. But he's got to take another step if he wants to beat these teams, And this is what's so frustrating today as well. Is Shams broke the news that the Nets offered, the Rockets offered Jalen Green for Mikal Bridges and all these draft picks, and the Nets said no to it, which it was just like
so the Rockets offered Jalen Green and all the Nets picks back for Mikal Bridges,
and we don't know the extent of the picks. To be fair, that we don't know. But Jalen Green, let me just read you his stats.
But even if you got just this year's pick back, I think it's worth it. You know what I mean?
Let me read you his stats. So I'm just going to do the points. 15, 27, 19, 16, 37, 26, 42, 26, 41, 27. He's been playing out of his mind. He's been playing well. He was the second pick in the 2021 NBA draft. I mean, I understand what the Rockets were doing at the time. Their thought was, he's underachieving. He's a guard that scores, but do we truly believe him as a leader on this team? Let's get Bridges,
who's established. Yeah,
I get it. And the fact that the Nets said no to that is malpractice.
It's a fireable offense. Honestly, it's a fireable.
It's a fireable offense, And also it shows the corruption within the Nets organization that he's safe there. And this is going to come off. And I don't mean this in a. This is a. For you'll say it, and I hope Knicks fans don't take this the wrong way. The Nets have become the Knicks the way they do business. They're like, oh, we'll just get a star here.
The stereotypical Knicks.
Oh my God, it's so stupid, right? Like, oh, we're going to go after Donovan Mitchell in the offseason. We're just going to keep star hunting instead of, if you think about this logically, the Nets trade Mikal Bridges, they get Jalen Green back, they get draft picks back,
cap space,
and they're in rebuild.
They have the picks plus Ben Simmons and trade for a star.
And they're
you know what I mean?
They're in it.
Ben Simmons expiring.
I almost don't believe that was a trade they said. Like something seems they can't be that enamored with Bridges that they and he's
something's off.
Something doesn't make sense. That they really right? Like if you then, for example, Durant was dealt for Bridges, Johnson, 4 draft picks.
But also
then you take Bridges and turn that into 2 or 3 draft picks. And like then Durant became 7 picks, their own picks, a young player. Like, okay, we're going to be bad for a year or two, but there's direction up. That was fireable offense and quite honestly depressing to hear out loud.
But also in January, were you really this down on Mikal Bridges as you are now? Let's say the trade was offered in January. Were you that as you are now?
No, you're not.
Like, it's easier to be like, oh wow, how do you not make that trade? You know what I mean? So it's just like early in the season, I made the tweet about the Nets may be better than the Knicks. You know what I mean? I said may, and people take it as a definitive thing. But at the time, and then I repeated and say, hey, look. Now they have the same record, and it's December, but it's just like all I was saying is like they may be better because they have talent. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's it. And this is all before all the trades and all the crap. And they were just the Knicks were like this stale basketball team. You know what I mean? But if you look at it now, it looks crazy to say, obviously, because all the trades happen and they've exploded and all the DiVincenzo took a step and Hart took a step and Hartenstein stepped in for Mitch. And it's just been like one thing after another is just hit, that it's so easy to be like, oh, how do you say this? So for the Nets with Mikal Bridges at the time in early January, he's playing well. You still have this hope of maybe he's a star. We don't know. Before the Roommates podcast, maybe that's why the Nets said no to the trade with the Rockets for Jalen Green and the picks. I don't know.
It's a fair point, but also at the same time, like let's say best case scenario, things started working out.
Right.
It's still not good enough. Now, yes, you're right. Now you're in the doom and gloom phase of Bridges has played bad. He had his best game was against the Knicks. You could tell he was up for it because he was playing his best friends, which he said so in that 2 minutes.
It's the Garden also. The Garden brings that out of players. I know you mock it, but the Garden does bring the best out of players a lot.
I will say in this case, I think
it's
he said it was his friendship. I mean, he said it, so I'm gonna take his word for it.
Right, but overall, generally speaking, the Garden, if Zion's coming to the Garden one time a year, he's gonna show out. He's not taking a rest day that game. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
I will say I can understand that from a New Jersey Net fan who saw his teams, and Richard Jefferson said this on the Bad Weather Fans podcast. They did enjoy going into the Garden and beating the living shit out of the Knicks.
They got up for it.
So if you phrase it like that, I'll accept your answer.
But let's say the Sonics are coming east in the 90s, and they're playing Sonics? Jersey, and then they're playing the Knicks. They're going to rest if they needed to. If they had back then they didn't rest. But let's say hypothetically speaking, Sean Kemp and Gary Payton are going to rest versus the Nets and then play the Knicks at the Garden. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, obviously
that's what I'm saying.
It was even a bigger attraction then.
Right.
Especially because of how TV has changed. I think then, going to the Garden, if you wanted to watch your Sonics play the Knicks, you never got a chance to see what it was like inside the Garden. Now, I do think some of that has changed, where I think there was more of a lure for things just because of how different it was for access, right? Like,
well, also, with celebrities
StubHub,
too. Yeah,
how easy it is to get into games now. It's just different than it was. It's a little
but also celebrities, there wasn't social media back then. If you wanted to be seen, you had to go to events, and that was one of the events. Go ahead.
And Alex, I will do anything and find any angle possible to always minimize anything Nick relevant and
I'm
make sure
aware.
to do that. Yes. And the full argument, I went back to the 90s TV to even
Yes.
make my point. I don't know
Yes.
what
And
where we were going, but then I
I
kind of
don't know.
lost my train of thought with, Bridges going in there. Yeah. He had his better game because he's playing his friends. It was in the Garden, but, even
So,
if
yeah.
let's say Bridges was started playing well, he was the Bridges we saw towards the end of last season. So the Nets are fighting for 8, 9, 10, and you
Mhm.
don't make the trade, you still don't have a future. You're just a little more excited because, gosh darn it, we can lose to the Celtics in 4.
Gosh darn it. Yeah,
But
I hear
yeah, you
you.
make a fair point.
I have one thing that I wanted to ask you about that I was thinking about. You know how we were talking before the show in our pre-show meeting. I usually have all these notes. I had one note, and the one note that I had was something that was bothering me. So the NBA MVP votes have not come out yet, obviously, because they vote at the end of the year, and reporters vote on these at the end of the year. They have all these NBA.com rankings of who the top MVP players are in the top 10, right? And Jalen
Okay.
Brunson is never in the top 10.
Okay.
Never, which is absurd. My opinion, my conspiracy theory is that NBA voters, who are mostly reporters, put out these preseason rankings of MVPs, right?
Okay.
Not one of them had Jalen Brunson on their list. I don't know that for a fact, but I would go out and bet anything on that. Do you think that they go out of their way to spin that Jalen Brunson is not a top MVP player because they didn't have them on they didn't have Brunson on their list before the season. So subconsciously, they're going to keep him off their ballot because they don't want to look bad. Or maybe consciously too, that they're not voting for Jalen Brunson for MVP because they didn't predict it before the
Well,
season. They have the ability to control the narrative and how they look.
I'd have to look at previous years on how that went, where guys weren't
Mhm.
projected to be in that area, had
Right.
great seasons. So I'd have to cross reference it, I think, before I could just make the claim. So where do they have Brunson if we're going MVP
I, I
ratings?
I haven't seen it. Like I've seen the NBA.com MVP, ladder, right? Let's say for now, and I haven't seen Brunson in any of the lists.
Well, I mean,
And
off the mhm.
yeah, all credibility with reporters are lost these days. Everybody just wants to be quote unquote right. They don't care about credibility. They just want to be viral, So
Yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, I would say ahead of him, you'd have Tatum.
right.
I'm looking
SGA, Jokic,
SGA,
Giannis.
Jokic, Giannis, Anthony Edwards, probably.
But why? I think Brunson would be on Edwards' level.
Just ranking
Right, but
in
I
the
think that's a
West.
close
Yeah,
one.
I'm just telling you where I would have it.
Right.
And then
Because look at what Brunson's doing with this entire team injured.
oh
He's keeping
yes,
them afloat. Like he
yeah,
was
no,
out for a couple games, and it's
Luca,
insane. Luca,
Luca,
yeah,
no, Rockets, no, Grizzlies, no, Pelicans, no, Spurs, no, Kings, no, Suns, no. Those, I mean, they
no.
have stars, but no. Lakers underachieving.
Warriors underachieving.
Clippers,
Yeah.
nah, probably not. There's just too many guys. I probably have Brunson like 7th,
Hmm.
and then
Okay.
I think I would, and then maybe you could have a really good Donovan Mitchell. I think is the other guy. So I would
Oh,
say
Donovan. Yes, he's the other guy,
you're
but he's on
splitting
like
hair.
Bronson level, like a
You're
Bronson
splitting
level. I would say.
hairs between Anthony Edwards, Brunson, and Donovan Mitchell. I'm not here to give a statement between of the three who's had a better year.
Hmm.
I can't go that far. I don't know. But I would
Right.
say those three out. You have your the top ones with Tatum, Giannis, Jokic, and Shea. I think
So I have it.
SGA. So five, 6, or 7, maybe.
Mhm. So I have the list, right? This is from NBA Central on Twitter. So they say they're sourcing NBA.com's updated MVP ladder, and this is from 3 days ago. One. I'll just read them down. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. Jokic, SGA, Giannis, Luca, Tatum, Sabonis, Kawhi, Durant, Booker, and Anthony Edwards, and no Brunson.
Which is funny because I had Donovan Mitchell on that list.
Sabonis is wild, though. I mean, I know the Kings are good.
He
But like,
doesn't
come
get
on.
enough love. I will
He
say
doesn't,
that.
but better than Brunson and better, more valuable than Brunson. I don't know.
I would say. I mean, let me put it this way: if you were, but this is the value of We have the MVP conversation. Look at the
Right.
Cavs right now. They lost Donovan Mitchell. They are terrible.
Right.
If Jalen Brunson was out, they did beat the Cavs that one game, which essentially was a full game. But other than that, they are terrible.
Right.
But especially if they're out with the other guys. I mean, the Knicks without Brunson, he makes it all go. And this is to your point. All these other guys wouldn't be having the years they're having because they would have to shoulder the load. And you saw what happened when Brunson was out. They lost to Dallas. You saw what happened. They lost to the Pelicans. They just kept losing. So yeah, I would probably have them anywhere between 5 and 7, and I wouldn't have a problem with that debate. But I would have them 5, 6, or 7.
So I don't think my conspiracy theory is that crazy, to be honest.
I don't know. I'd have to see how they did in the past. I think more of it might not be because they don't want to look bad with their votes. I think there's a subconscious where people dislike the Knicks.
Right. I think that's fair.
That I believe that more because my subconscious does. I don't think though personally, if I was doing my own vote, I've always been honest here. I just gave where I think he fits in the MVP discussion. I don't think I would do that, but I could understand my subconscious being like, I despise all things Knicks and their fan base. That it'd be easy to be like, let's put Booker in there for the hell of it. Although, all of these guys have had great years too. So,
yeah, I'm just trying to find the list and I can't find what the preseason rankings were, but who cares? It's just a thought, just something to keep an eye on. But I think
also too, if you're like, he's the MVP, I don't think he is.
Right.
At the same time.
I don't think he will. But I think it'll be Giannis or Jokic. I think those are the easy ones. And they'll flip every year.
SGA's been amazing. I mean,
SGA is
Thunder, unbelievable.
Is the fun pick. But
like if you swapped, if you had SGA's, if you just took the Thunder and Knicks and swapped them, I mean, could you imagine? It would be even crazier than this because of how good he is.
Well, yeah, and how young that whole team is, and how ahead of schedule they are, and everything.
Yeah, I know you hate their GM, but damn it,
I don't hate it. I just thought he was a little overrated. That's all. He hasn't won anything, so we'll see. It's been a long time since they've been to the playoffs, but somehow he's still the GM. But that's okay.
And he's built a fantastic roster.
I know it took him 10 years, so that's great. He traded a bunch of superstars and had 75,000 picks and hit on like 2 of them, so that's fine.
He hit now, but I mean that trade, the Paul George trade was great. It was a great trade.
I know, but like you had Paul George. You had Westbrook, you had Durant, you had Harden, you traded all these guys and you got players and picks for them. You know what I mean? So it's just
I will take their future. Take over the Nets.
Any GM in the NBA, if you give him, I know he was responsible for building the team that got those players, so he gets credit regardless. But like any player that trades 3 MVPs and all stars, and you know what I mean, is gonna build a roster that has a lot of draft picks. Besides the Nets, of course.
Oh, I mean, I guess they have draft picks.
Yeah. So it's just a thought because I was actually talking this quick sidebar before we get to actually have a Dolan J. Trump poll question and a Dolan J. Trump jersey trivia. But I was talking to a buddy about because he bet on Wemby winning Defensive Player of the Year. So he's been really wondering if he's going to win it. But I'm like, they're probably not going to give it to him because he's a rookie. And that's just how these voters are. They'll probably give it to Gobert again because they love giving it to him, or like Herb Jones or somebody like that. You know what I mean? They're not going to give it to Wemby, even though he has more blocks than some teams this season, which is insane. But, and he affects defenses in a way that a corner like Darrelle Revis affects teams where they won't throw it to him because, they don't want to get intercepted. They don't want to get blocked. So they won't drive towards him. There's videos of that. Anyway, it's a quick sidebar. So I was thinking about it because I was thinking about when RJ Barrett got screwed off the all rookie second team for Terrence Davis because of a Zach Lowe hit piece podcast, and that it turned everybody against RJ Barrett for Terrence Davis, who I don't know if he's even in the league anymore. And it became like RJ cleared him in every statistical category. It's just, what are we doing? They just wanted to be like analytical stuff. So that's all I'm saying.
I miss those days.
You miss those days of the Knicks being like caring about all rookie second teams.
Yeah, I miss those days, the good old days.
Yeah. So Dolan J. Trump put out an interesting trivia question, and it goes to what we were been talking about, and I wanted to use it. And he asked if we should use it, and I use it. I'm actually wearing his relax t-shirt.
Oh, nice. I'm wearing
A Syracuse shirt.
Syracuse, and it's actually from the 2002 Final Four.
Oh,
Now this is vintage. This is the
vintage mellow
New Orleans mellow.
Great
Yeah,
Nick.
which is cool too, because as a Net fan, I can officially say to everybody listening, I'm the only person here that's enjoying this podcast that rooted for Carmelo Anthony and saw him win a championship. I have that. You don't.
That's a good point. But you're also countering that off with wearing a Pittsburgh Pirates hat. So
I am
don't
not
know.
wearing a Pittsburgh Pirates hat.
What is that?
Not. This is
it's a P.
LIU Post hat.
Oh, it looks like a Pirates hat from
No,
far away.
it's LIU Post, which was given as a gift when I was producing the Taz and the
CW
Moose
Post
show for a Long Island fan that loved Taz and gave us all this free shit.
Oh, okay.
It's the LIU Post.
All right. So anyway, the trivia question was, which I'm not reading responses because I don't have it in front of me. I just have a screenshot of it. If we can only have one, who would it be? Mitchell Robinson or Isaiah Hartenstein? There were 842 votes. What do you think? Who do you think won, Mike?
iHart.
By how much?
Like votes or percentage?
Percentages. What do you think the percentages
60-40.
70-30 on the month. Like exactly, which is crazy. First of all, it's crazy that it was an actually even percentage and not like 70.2. Yeah, but I think it's some like recency bias. Excuse me. I think Mitchell Robinson is awesome, and I think he has Defensive Player of the Year, all defensive potential. And I think people are forgetting just how good he is. Hartenstein's maybe a little more durable. I know he had the injury too this year, but he's played through it. Mitchell Robinson gets hurt every year, even though he gets in shape, he gets hurt. He's skinny, he gets hurt. It's really like freak injuries. It's getting annoying. And same thing for Julius Randle is that he's been getting hurt every year now. So it gets frustrating. And when do you put the injury prone thing on somebody, the tag on somebody? But Hartenstein's been awesome, and they already paid Mitch, so they're either playing Mitch Hartenstein's either playing Mitch out of town where they got to trade him and keep Hartenstein, or they're not gonna be able to afford Hartenstein, and that's it, and they're gonna have to let him go. And I think the Nets would be a good spot for him, to be honest.
I would take him over Nick Claxton in a second. They should not re-sign Nick Claxton. There's no reason to sign Nick Claxton.
None. Zero. Yes,
None.
I agree.
They don't need to give him 20-25 million. Now, is a team that's close that needs over the top piece, I could see you maybe overspending, but the Nets aren't winning. There's no need to give him a contract. Doesn't make
Hartenstein's unrestricted free agent after this year, so you can throw a bag at him if you really wanted to, and then he doesn't have to move. But why would he want to go from the Knicks to the Nets? I don't know. But
money. Alex, the answer. The answer is I don't know if you like. He can say all the things he want, like, hey,
love New York.
The fans. I mean, it's still he. Essentially would live in the same area, but
right.
Oh, the fans. You go to Barclays Center and you hear Knicks fans. Let me tell you something. Somebody offers you millions upon millions of dollars more. That don't mean shit.
Especially if you don't have to move. I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, I know the Knicks practice in Westchester, so he probably lives in Westchester like most Knicks do. Some live in Manhattan, but if he lives in Manhattan, I mean, either way, it's an easy move. You're not really uprooting people.
It doesn't make sense for the Nets
to throw a bag at Hartenstein?
Because they suck. Like, they don't need, for a smart rebuild, there's no need to give him money. And then,
especially when you have Ben Simmons. But I don't know. I think if you're you're either going to pay, you got to play somebody at center. I mean,
I would honestly
$8 million now. What do you think he's going to get? 15, 20 mil a year?
I rather play Day'Ron Sharp on his rookie deal and continue the development of Noah Clowney, who looked good, who can stretch and shoot threes, who's athletic. Now, he technically is the power forward. Mm-hmm. That was one bright spot for them. The one bright, but Noah Clowney getting minutes is at least something. If you're a Net fan, you want to watch. You could see he has insane potential with his athleticism, and the funny part about Marks is he's hit on these late draft picks. He looks like a player, man, and that was. I know to the Knick fan listening, this sounds like, play the tiny violin. I get it, but he did look good, and that was exciting. I don't know which Dolan gave me two. I don't remember which one I asked last week, and I don't want to fuck it up. Remember the answer?
Last week, I think Sheldon Williams.
No, it was after that.
Or was that the one that I had for you? No.
Oh, no. He was attended the same university as Quentin Grimes, Clyde Drexler, and Akeem Olajuwon.
I don't think that was one.
No, that was it.
Was that the one that I did?
Yeah, that was the one that you got. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think so. I don't
Yeah,
remember Houston.
yeah.
I don't know what player that went to
It
Houston.
was Damian Dotson.
Yes.
You got that. I figured it out.
Okay.
All right. You want me to go first? Or you want to go first?
You go first. Dolan J. Trump trivia at Dolan_J_Trump. Mike, he gives Mike clues and me clues. I have to guess the Nick, and he has to guess the net. And you buzz in when you get the answer, and we'll guess at the end.
He
Go.
played 2 seasons with the Knicks from 2014 to 2016.
No, I don't. Hazonia.
I thought you said we weren't doing the guess
I'm
thing.
kidding. Buzzing. Bzz.
You just blew it.
I guessed it.
No, I'm just fucking with you. His career lasted 10 seasons with pit stops in Phoenix, Indiana, Golden State, New Orleans, Philly, Minnesota, Utah, Cleveland, Chicago.
Jeez. So
He's
he's been around the block.
Beautiful.
Every team.
Don't ask me to do that one again.
So every team. Doesn't matter.
He was acquired by the Knicks in a 3-team trade with Cleveland and OKC that featured the likes of Lance Thomas, Amon Shumpert, and J.R. Smith.
Bzz. I know who it is.
With the Knicks, he appeared in 70 games and made 35 starts at power forward in 2014. He debuted in 2007 after going undrafted from the same university as Anthony Bennett, Greg Anthony, and Larry Johnson. His career ended in 2016. With the Knicks, he wore 2 numbers, 21 and 17. All right,
I know who it is.
Yep.
Lou Amundsen.
Yes, you got it, which is funny because the Dolan's next text me after was, "This is too difficult for him. Should I do a different one?" I wrote, "It's a little hard, but it's fine." He goes,
because we were going to do him on WFAN and we didn't get to it. So
he also has done this one for you, by the way.
Lou Amundsen.
Yeah,
it's a known Nick, even though he's whatever. It's just one of those kind of Nicks that it's like he's just so funny looking. You know what I mean? That it's like with the ponytail and it's just whatever.
He's got a 2014 net. Here it comes.
Okay. He played 4 years in the NBA after being drafted 17th overall by the Nets in the 2007 draft.
Hold on, timeout. Say this again.
17th in 2007 draft.
Let me think.
Don't forget the buzz. So.
Yeah, I just want to think for a second. So 2017, I graduated school in 2006. It was my first year in Charlottesville. So that was the year between that. It's the year after the Josh Boone draft and the oh man, I am blanking. Oh fuck.
He only played 4 years in the NBA.
I should have had it right there. I'm so mad at myself. Oh, okay.
You'll keep going then. Okay, he played 3 seasons with the Nets before his stints with the Mavericks and the Celtics.
2007. No, he was drafted earlier. It's not him. He was drafted in 2005. It's not Antoine Wright.
With the Nets, he appeared in 126 games and made 29 starts, all during his rookie season at power forward.
Maybe Buzz.
Despite his promising rookie campaign, an incredible athletic prowess. He never lived up to his potential.
Yeah, the name is escaping, but I know who it is. But the name is just jumping.
He shares a common birthday with previously Jersey Trivia mentioned Travis Knight and Dolan J. Trump, September 13th. So
now I definitely know who it is. Oh my God, I'm blanking on his name, but I can see him. Oh my God.
He attended the same university as Dana Barros, Chris Herron, and Jared Dudley.
Wow, he's really going deep in his bag on the colleges, but okay, I know.
With the Nets, he wore number 51.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's he went to BC, by the way. Oh my God, I can see he wore 51. He said,
yeah.
Oh my, I know who it is. I'm just having one of those moments. It's a Williams.
Yes,
but the first name is gone from my head. It's definitely a Williams, and he was.
Think of the rapper producer mogul that got arrested today. What's his first name?
P. Diddy, Puff,
and what's his first
Sean
name?
Williams. Yeah, that's Sean Williams. I knew who that was. The second he said he was a bust because him and Kid had some great early dunks, and everybody's like, "It's Kenyon again," and it was not. Yeah. Oh man, it was the 2007 draft. Interesting, because Marcus Williams and Josh Boone were the 2006 draft, which was funny because they took them right after Rajon Rondo. And they both were not Rajon Rondo.
They were not. Well, the Knicks passed on Rondo. I know that. I forgot who they picked in the draft,
man.
but they passed
Good
on
one.
Rondo.
I should have, the second he said 2007, 17th pick. Oh, man, that just, it's frustrating. Okay. I got it, but not really.
The Knicks passed on Rondo for Nate Robinson, I want to guess.
2007,
too late. No,
2006 draft.
Yeah, 2007. Oh, Rondo was 2006.
2006.
Oh, okay. Then it wasn't Wilson Chandler. I want to say it was.
Damn it.
Oh, even better. Ronaldo Bachman was the pick before Rajon Rondo.
It sounds like somebody we try to book on the podcast.
Ronaldo Bachman, yeah. Yeah, and then they drafted Marty Collins later. Yeah, that was a weird draft. Number 1 pick, Andrea Bargnani.
That was terrible.
Can you name the top 5 of that draft?
2007,
2006.
2006.
So Bargs is 1.
Shit.
Big star number 2, and the next 3 are
you gotta let my brain recalibrate for a second and just think. Ben Gordon 2.
No, big star, all-star, perennial all-star. Not big star, but
call it. He went to school somewhere.
Yes, he did. Texas.
Oh God.
Was a net later in his career.
Did he play against the Bucks in the playoffs?
That I don't know. I think
so. It's not Durant. That was a joke.
Oh no.
Big star. Texas. 2006. Texas.
Marcus Aldridge.
Oh God, you're right. So he did play against. No, he didn't play against the Bucks. He was hurt that series.
Yeah, I wasn't. That's
Aldridge
what I wasn't
was
sure.
the second pick. All right, third pick.
Adam Morrison. Oh, Gonzaga. LSU is next.
Man, I am not as good at this as I thought I was. It's not. No, Stroh Swift was way before that.
Yeah.
LSU. Oh, who?
Tyrese Thomas.
That was tough.
Number 5 is another.
Say the school.
Is another person that played for the Nets. Duke. And the Knicks.
Sheldon Williams.
Yeah.
Who's the 6?
Now 6 was Washington.
The Brandon Roy.
Yeah. 7 is Villanova.
Is it?
This is tough. But he was in the league for a good amount of time.
Alan Ray.
No. Randy Foy.
Come on. Give me a second, dude.
I thought you had 2 guesses.
No, I would have had it. Okay, next school.
UConn, easy.
8 UConn.
Yeah, easy. Come on.
What's this? Knicks failed point guard.
No.
Hornet.
No. Nope.
No, who is it?
Rudy Gay.
Rudy Gay. That's not easy. All right, but it should be 9. And
next one is impossible. Bradley University.
Bradley. Yeah, I don't know.
Patrick O'Bryant. And
would not have gotten that.
Another country, Muhammad Sani, and then 11 Duke, and that's the last one.
Duke 11, 2006.
Yeah, you should know this.
JJ.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
What a terrible draft.
I could do 96 for you.
Of course, so can everybody.
Yeah.
No, I can't. But give me a second and gave me the colleges, I'd be able to get it. Hilton Armstrong, Thabo Cephalosha, Ronnie Brewer, Cedric Simmons, Rodney Carney, Sean Williams. Who the hell is that? Quincy Dobie.
It was, who
Oletsky Perov. What the fuck? Who was that?
This is funny. I don't remember where I heard this or saw this, Alex, but this was basically it. It was like a wife was like, "So what did you do? Like, what'd you do all day? You're like with your friend and like with the guy's friend." And he's like, "Did he talk about his new girlfriend? Did he talk about going through his divorce? Did he say this?" He's like, "I'm like, I didn't know that." It's like, "What'd you do?" He's like, "I don't know. We just named all the 98 Braves."
Yeah, just name random players.
It's like she was like,
name your favorite wide receivers from the 90s.
Right.
Yeah.
What's your right? He's like, you didn't ask him about what was going on with his wife or
no,
what's going on with the divorce.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Nah, we just sat there and named our favorite Atlanta Falcons.
We talked who we would take in the draft coming up this summer.
But that just reminded me of that. Like I could do that. I had a game, Alex.
You've told me this, but go ahead. Tell the people.
I did. Man.
Yeah, tell the people.
But I had a game that I played. It's just the pastime with my guys. It was like name a player, You
Yeah.
then had to name what school he went to. You then had to name, or you had to name. So you said a team. You said a player on the team. You said the school he went to. You then said another player that went to that school. Then you had to say the team, and you just kept cycling through until someone was out. And I was like, I could do this all day.
See, I'd be better at that from the 90s players because I actually paid attention to the schools that people went to because they were in school for more than like 3 months.
It was different. Yes.
You
Like
know
I said,
what
it was
Now
different.
It's like, yeah. Back then you can do it. You'd be like Shaq, LSU.
You do one round with me? Can we do one round and then
Fine.
we'll call it a day?
Yeah.
All right. So I'll start it.
Mm-hmm.
The New Jersey Nets.
But then I have to come up with a player in the college.
No, you just name a player. Then I go to we'll do it step by step of the first round so people get it. So New Jersey Nets. So you need to name a net that was in New Jersey.
Okay. Mookie Blaylock.
Then I would have to name Mookie's school.
Yeah. Going deep. So you can try to catch.
Where did Mookie Blaylock go?
I win already. See,
so you would have won. Do you know where he went to school?
No idea.
Oh man, where did Mookie go to school? Now I need to know. I'm gonna take a guess and say
I'll look it up.
Georgia Tech.
He went to
Oklahoma. I had no idea.
Oh, 2 colleges, Midland College in Oklahoma. If you knew Midland College, I would be really impressed.
Okay, so do another one. Just do it a little easier. New Jersey Net. Just name a more name an easier. Just name a more mainstream dude.
Okay.
Just
more mainstream dude. Brooke Lopez.
All right, then I would say Stanford. Now you would have to name another player that went to Stanford.
Robin Lopez.
Okay, and then I would have to say a team he played for. He played for everybody. I would say the Bucks.
Now
you would have to name another Buck.
Okay, Glenn Robinson.
And then I would say Purdue. And now you would have to name a player on Purdue.
That's tough.
So then until someone's stumped.
Purdue. What another player from Purdue? I wouldn't even know. That's tough.
Well, you lost.
So now I get it. Because so when you name your player, you want to name it from a college that you're familiar with. Because
you want to try to set yourself up. Now maybe you do like rebuttal and you get fun with it. But anyway,
that is fun. Yeah,
it's in the weeds of the podcast.
Yes. Thanks for listening. So quick before the baseball season starts, quick over unders Mets and Yankees. Mets 81.5 is their number, over or under.
I have a homer, but over.
Yeah, I think over too. I think that's way too low. Even if the starting pitching's bad, the Mets are going to be good. Not good, but like they're mid 80s, I say. Yankees 91.5.
Over.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take the over for both.
I think that's I think they're going to be like right there. That's really tough. I'm going to push on that
because Cole's hurt.
Cole's hurt, yeah, and I don't know. I just they're going to be good, but like I don't think Stroman's reliable. I know he's been good, but like he's coming back to New York, he's going to be a mess. I don't know. It's just something about the Yankees doesn't.
Their lineup.
I know they got Soto and everything.
Their lineup's just loaded. Alex, do you know how much I studied the Yankees for WFAN? I actually know them now. They're going to win more than 90 games.
Who's their closer?
I have no fucking clue.
There's a hint. He hit Starling Marte in the head today, and
I did not watch anything from today. Is Marte okay?
The hell's his name? No, I'm dropping.
I know their former closer is that had some of the most bizarre shit you've ever seen.
Their former closer?
Well, yeah, Rolandis Chapman, who would like.
Oh yeah,
breastfeeding.
Clay Holmes.
Like
Clay Holmes.
Clay Holmes.
That's the guy. I couldn't think of his name.
I'm glad
it was a breaking
laugh,
ball. He's
though.
fine. It was a break. It wasn't like a 99-mile-an-hour fastball like Clemens to Piazza or anything like that.
Glad I made you laugh though.
Yeah,
because I was. I mean,
I know so much about the Yankees. Like, who's their closer? I have no idea.
I will say from preference.
Like, who's their backup second baseman? It's
I did get. I am more. You've mentioned this too. It's funny. I'm more excited for the Mets this year. I know how you have felt in the past with like the Knicks being so dreadful.
Yeah.
This year I'm so excited for the Mets because the Nets have just been over forever, and at least there's
some hope now with JD.
0-0, so you can't take that away from me until somebody else gets hurt. But their lineup with the Martinez edition at least has some more balance.
You got to think McNeil and Marte are going to bounce back also.
Well, that's the problem, Alex. Is like in the eye of the beholder, we always look at our guys in higher regard, like RJ Barrett. And the
like
problem
Karis
is, it's
LeVert.
no, truly.
Yeah.
And the problem is, although LeVert's, I think, regressed since he's left the Nets.
I don't know if his medical issues had anything to do
could
with
have
it.
something to do with it.
I don't want to make fun of him.
Yeah. I think, we look like, oh, Jeff McNeil, he'll bounce back. Brandon Nimmo, he's a good leadoff hitter. It's just, and then it's like, are these guys that good?
I mean, the Mets have Bader starting center field. It's not like who these people, I get it. But you never know, because Brett Beatty could be the guy, all of a sudden. JD Martinez gets 40 home runs behind Alonso. Alonso hits 50.
Yeah, it's fun. And in baseball, truly, I mean, you have the pitchers in particular. Look at Severino this spring. It's been amazing. Although he'll then get into the regular season first game, it's going to be like 2 1/3, 7 earned runs. See ya. I mean, that's how it works. Of course. Doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. I mean, I don't want to get into a 20-minute thing about Ohtani, but it's crazy what's going on there. I don't know what's going on with
I heard his presser.
Yeah, I didn't hear any of it, honestly.
He basically said, man, like,
the guy stole from
you heard the truth. This guy's a dick. He did all of this. I have nothing to do with this. I'm not saying anything else.
Bullshit.
Well, I mean,
there's no way you don't know where $4.5 million are. I don't care how oblivious you are. Not in 2024 with digital banking.
Happened to me. Happened to me.
Yes, it happened to you. It's not like you sign up for some subscription online, like your free trial gets up, like everybody signed up for Peacock for an NFL playoff game, and then didn't realize a month later, the kind of thing.
Nothing pisses my wife off more than when I forget to end those free trials. I can't. I've been. I'm not allowed to do
like that. $10-15.
I wanted to do a Paramount one so we could watch Mean Girls the musical because it was filmed down the street from our house, and I was like, honey, I just got to do the Paramount free trial for 7 days. She's like, are you out of your fucking mind? There's no way in hell you're gonna remember that. And I went, you're right.
Can't you just set an alarm like the next day? Well, you'll get the alarm. You'll be like, okay, I'll do this in a few minutes.
But here's the problem. I don't know what to do. And then I have to ask her to do it. And I think she's just like, I can't take it.
It's on your phone, man. You go to settings and you click on your face. You click on your face.
That's true. On the Apple one, it's easier. On the phone,
and then I always do it through my Apple because of that. And then you click on subscriptions, and then you just cancel. I can't tell you
how many subscriptions I've paid an extra month worth. Where I was like, oh, I need this, and then it's just $7.99. Ding. Terrible.
Yeah,
she's right. She is right.
Yeah. So women are always right somehow.
Yes.
They were always right.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, that's Bad Weather fans. Thanks for listening.
She doesn't listen to the pods, so she'll look at me and go, well, I'm glad you put it in the public.
Well, my wife never listens, so she won't know anything I'm going to talk about unless Jess tells her.
Well, that's not all I said. This is a me thing.
I know. I'm just saying in general, like there's nothing that I say that she would ever hear unless I told her, hey, listen to this. I said something nice.
No, my wife does listen. I will say I don't think it's first in her rotation, but it is in the rotation.
Right. Because she's a supportive wife. Not that my wife is not supportive. See how that came out? See, like I need to get off this podcast.
This will be the one episode she listens to.
Yeah. I'm sure she's going to go an hour into the podcast and listen to the end of it. Anyway.
Maybe. Deep dive. She'll do a podcast about your podcast.
Right. Bad Weather fans.
Bad Weather fans. Where you react to the comments said by Alex and Mike on the podcast.
Okay. Anyway.
Did I go too far when I called Josh Hart a dick?
No, I think he is a dick. I think he knows he's a dick. I think he just does it.
But I mean, in a loving way.
In a loving way.
And I said that.
He's a loving dick.
He's a loving dick. Although it was funny when Dick played for the Raptors tonight, and there was one call.
Dick.
Yeah. And I don't. Ruocco didn't mean to do it, but it was like Dick took a shot at the end of the half. I was like,
yeah, I've noticed Mike Breen when they play the Raptors. Like he says Grady Dick. He's always Grady Dick shoots. Grady Dick. He'll never say Dick, and he always uses last
and Island say Dick. I think Island's just like, oh yeah,
Island doesn't care.
Yeah, it was like his Ruocco says like Dick and Dick and the ball is just Dick is dancing around ball was dancing around the rim. I was like,
Dick takes it hard to the lane. You know
Yeah,
what I
I
mean?
mean,
Like
how
it's
can
just
you
like,
not want to? Like, how can you
yeah.
not? It's a broadcaster. Be
But
like, I
somebody
have
like
free
Mike
reign to say
Breen
dick.
doesn't want that viral thing. He just wants to be Mike Breen. You know what I
No,
mean? Like
yeah.
somebody like Rucco or just somebody
I
who's
don't
just
no,
not
no,
as
but it wasn't
established.
regular. It wasn't over the top. It was
Right. It
regular.
was
It was
just
just
being
like,
himself.
yeah, it was just
No, but I'm
like,
saying Mike Breen literally just said Grady Dick the entire game. Like
I don't
Grady
like
Dick
that.
from deep. Grady Dick drives the lane.
I
Grady
don't
Dick
like
shoots
that.
the shot over here.
Then you
And
got to keep that consistent. I
right.
actually,
He always does a last name too. When it's Carmelo, he's like Anthony from 3 or James.
yeah,
Nobody calls LeBron James. Like nobody's gonna be like James takes it to the hoop. Like nobody says that but Mike Breen. You know
right.
what I mean?
Like, like
Everybody calls him LeBron.
you got to
Yeah.
take advantage of that. Like, oh,
I know.
dick is hard. Like,
Well, how
do
about
it.
him and Anthony Black posing with a jersey
Yeah,
exchange of the Black Dick? That was
yeah. You got to take advantage of it.
listen, that's what it said. Hey, listen. And then Dolan J. Trump's line of what did he say? He's like,
I don't know. I muted him.
what was a player? I was fuck, I'm gonna botch it. It was something like Tiny. There was somebody like Tiny or somebody like I don't know. I forgot what it was.
Well, you're really crushing this.
Even Evans brought it up on WFAN. I
On
forgot what the
Dolan's
hell it
thing.
was. It was like a Dolan J. Trump's thing. He said
Did Dolan screen grab it and play it
he
back?
just said, well, what about this player? If they did one or something.
Right.
Like that.
Yeah, you could have fun with that because it's a never-ending pool of.
I'm sure they got a letter from Adam Silver, like, don't do that again. You know what I mean? Like,
but the problem is, then is he never allowed to trade jerseys?
right.
I mean, that's
But
kind of unfair.
They did it
too.
on purpose. They did it on purpose. You saw Anthony Black go to the photographer and say, "Hey, come here." You know
True,
what I mean?
but I mean, I'm
Yeah.
going to defend Dick here. He's got to be allowed to trade his jersey with anybody because everybody else can. So is he not like allowed to?
Yeah,
trade
he
jersey?
can't. No, he can't. He can't.
They've put an asterisk on the I in Dick.
Yeah, especially if there's a guy with the last name White or there's a guy with the last name
Kobe.
Kobe White. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Kobe White.
Oh, God.
Well, now I got to look at great NBA player names that you can match
with Dick.
Yeah. Best NBA.
There used to be a football player last name Pounds.
All time.
That would have been a good one.
Yeah. See, that best players of all time.
Oh, or Natron Means from the Jaguars back in the day. It'd be like Means Dick. Actually, that's not that great, but I don't know.
This is not. Yeah, I don't know.
All
right,
terrible segment. Yeah,
it wasn't that bad. I wouldn't. Anyway, all right, bad weather really fans. Not too long.
We didn't land this one.
Yeah, no, the other one landed. All right, Alex. Yeah. Talk to you later.
Okay, have a good one. Thank you.
You're welcome.